And again, just keeping my eye on the overall market. Coming back to Apple, because remember I was watching Soxel. Uh, there's definitely some correlation between those. So now I'm looking at Apple. Like, okay, for the ultimate confirmation, see that? Like that volume's looking crazy right there, bro. Like, I don't know if it's a misprint or something, but basically I'm watching Apple, and like I was saying, for the ultimate confirmation, I want to see Apple come down here and break down this level here, this triple bottom. Keep in mind, this is the 1 minute chart, but I'm also watching it on like a 5 or a 10 minute. I'm just watching this thing because look, one, two, three. So down here at this level right here is the triple bottom. So again, for the ultimate confirmation, what I want to see is Apple go ahead and crack that level where it's trying to maintain the triple bottom. Now, if we see that happen, then I know. I mean, at this point, the trade already worked, but I'm just basically seeing how much more it could work, which has its pros and cons because you could easily just go ahead and you feel me, take the profits off the table to pay yourself first, or you could wait and see if this thing breaks down. And look, you see me come to the 5 minute for some logic, and as you can see, here's the level where the triple bottom was. Look, 1, 2, 3. Then we cracked it. So at this point, I definitely know that I was right. Like my thesis and plan and bias on the day was correct. So now we've seen Apple break down that triple bottom. I was also watching the SPY, the S&P 500, Apple, like success, like on some other charts, like on my other monitor. So at this point, like I've already seen like the SPY looking weak. I don't know if it cracked like the bottom of the range yet, but what I did notice is that Apple cracked that triple bottom. I believe the SPY cracked the support as well, and also seen success grinding up. So now I'm just waiting for the cues to follow behind everything else. And today, it just so happens it seems like tech was like lagging behind everything else, at least up until this point. So I've already seen Apple crack and the SPY crack. So I'm almost like almost definitely sure that the Qs are gonna eventually crack as well. Because like I said, that's the benefit of first of all watching the entire market, and secondly trading large caps or mega caps or even indices like index funds. So now you see me come over here and put the Qs on the 5 minute again for some logic, because you can't really infer much from like a 1 minute chart or a 2 minute chart. That's mainly like if you're scalping or for entries and exits. Here's the 3 minute. And I mean, even on the 3 minute, like you can kind of see where the bottom of the range is. See right here. See these candles? So, and look, the Qs came down here and touched it, but bounced. So now I'm looking for the Qs to crack that triple bottom like Apple did for the ultimate confirmation. And I'm just there being patient. I already seen Apple crack and the SPY. I mean, you have to go ahead and assume that the Qs are next. And here's the 5 minute. And look at these wicks. See that? Wick selling into it. Doja candle, but lower low and a lower high. Another lower low and a lower high. Selling into everything. This candle opening below the previous candle, selling into it, and then shopping around, but refusing to open a new candle above this level. And this long wick right here lets you know that when it did try to bounce, they sold into it. Then right here, this candle opened below the previous candle, the body, and has a long wick, just like this one. So they're selling into it, but now they're selling into it with the body below the previous candle and also rejecting off the 9. So all those are elevating factors that support, uh, my bearish thesis to the downside intraday. And like, I feel like at this point, it's just a matter of time because the Apple already cracked it. The SPY already cracked it. The Qs are lagging. And see, that's another benefit of watching the entire market. Like the SPY, the Qs, Apple, and maybe some other large caps. By doing that, you can determine which ones are leading and which ones are lagging. And that's an edge. And you see? So at this point, I'm like, yeah, I know I'm definitely right. And remember, I started fading up here when we rejected off of VWAP. So at this point, I could have closed it out here. I'm looking to close the trade out here. But just seeing like if we're gonna, dump even more. But I also don't want to be too greedy. So like I'm kind of conflicted here. But then like at this point I also had like some like an errand to run. So like man, I think I should just go ahead and close it out and take the profits off the table. But look, notice this thing's dumping. When I go back and check the market, I'm gonna feel some pain if this thing dumped even more, bro. Which high probability it did. Matter of fact, I'll check it right now. But I'm just watching it, being patient. And I mean, that's some trappy looking price action. No, actually, no. I think those things, the Qs called a bid and ran up. So, actually got out at the perfect time. Yeah. So, closing out the trade down here was actually, yeah, see, I closed it right there. Was actually, and that's why you just have to follow your plan and stick to it. I just actually looked at the market really quick, and it seems like the Qs and the market in general. I mean, I just checked the Qs, but I can only assume the entire market caught a bid and ran up. So actually, me going ahead and closing out the trade down here was like the perfect time to close it, actually.